How are you? So good to see you guys. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to be out here. Yeah, really appreciate you.
Let's begin with Medicare for All, because that is one of the most important issues in this race.
I went to medical school, and I've spent a lot of time thinking about this system. Wrote a whole book on it. And ultimately realized that the biggest challenge is not making the math work. The biggest challenge is not architecting the system. The biggest challenge is creating the political will to get there. I want you to imagine that next to your insurance card, you had another card. And that card was your Medicare card. It came to you the day you were born. And it didn't matter if you turned 26 or get married or get divorced or get a job or lose a job, that you could get healthcare with it. That's what Medicare for All is.
My uncle, he had a precarious healthcare situation, and he put off getting treatment for a while, and he ended up passing away from stomach cancer. I just think that really goes to show how far gone this system stands as it is right now.
Most people just put off having to do anything because the financial burden of actually getting the healthcare you need is more anxiety provoking than the possibility of being very sick. Now, the current system that we live under allows all of the corporations who make money off of our healthcare system to spend money to elect people who will then turn around and protect the industry. And they've, in effect, manufactured a bipartisan consensus that tells us we can't have guaranteed healthcare through Medicare for All. This is the question I always get. But doctor, how are you gonna pay for it? Just remember, we already pay for it. Every single dollar that goes to the back pocket of an insurance CEO, every single dollar that goes to a pharmaceutical company, every single dollar comes from where? One of our pockets, every single one. And because you don't have to worry about that health insurance CEO's exorbitant salary, now all of a sudden the overhead off that system goes down. That's the vision of Medicare for All. We could have it if we actually were willing to fight for it.
My name is Lena Saad. I'm a clinical pharmacist. There's one patient that was not able to afford her oral therapy at the time, and we relied on giving her samples that we would get from drug companies, and I would literally take it and drive it to her on my way home. So how can we incorporate the pharmaceutical aspect into Medicare for All as well?
So one of the most important things we could do is negotiate prescription drug prices. Medicare becomes the buyer of all prescription drugs on behalf of all of us. And so it can use its power purchasing on behalf of the 350 million people in this country to start bringing those rates down. Here's the other crazy thing about pharma. Almost every pharmaceutical that has come to market in the last decade has had its roots in NIH-funded research. You know who paid for that? We did. Then some private company comes and buys the rights to this thing. Then they get to sell it back to the taxpayer at a ridiculous rate. I mean, that's insane to me.
My mom's from Canada originally, and it seems like the motive there is to keep the people healthy.
So what we really want is prevention. I'll be honest with you. I actually agree with Maha on a lot of things. Most people are like, wait, what? They're right about a lot of the problems. The solutions are batshit crazy, but they're right about a lot of the problems. I think we need to stop selling huge amounts of ultra-processed foods in ways that have us subsidizing them via a whole bunch of programs, when what we really want is people to be eating healthy foods in the first place, right? Like in our current system, let's be clear, a lot of people make a lot of money off of people getting sick.
I've been working for Ford Motor Company for 31 years now. I've had it nice being a UAW member that I've had health insurance my entire career. I find myself as a parent of a child with autism. I'm coming towards the end of my career. So that's one of my biggest fears, where the care will be in place for him. I typically hold more libertarian views on something like this. So would we be doing like a single payer system?
It would be single payer. And what I want is that the government basically guarantees your health insurance. And that allows the healthcare providers to go out and say, look, if I can provide a better service, then I should win more patients. But it shouldn't be that your health insurance says, no, here's who's in network and here's who's out of network. So you're going to go here and you're going to like it. And I think there's a couple of pieces that we need to institutionalize. Number one, the governance of this system can't just change on a dime because you have a new president, right? And so the governance would have to live somewhere similar to the kind that we offer in the Fed, right? So the governance would have to sit under but separate from the executive branch in a certain way. We're the richest, most powerful country in the history of the world. And, we fight wars for no reason. But whenever we talk about providing healthcare, everyone's like, well, I don't know if we could do it. Well, it's a choice. These are policy choices. I would rather not spend $1 trillion on war. I'd rather spend that money on healthcare and schools. And
Of course, you muted.
Welcome to Absurdity Space. I'm Forrest Miller. This is Christina Oakes. We are, we're live. We're live right now.
And
Right.
very tired.
Yeah, how did it go? How did work go? How's the puppy mill going?
I gotta do it for till Friday or whenever she gets back. It's getting annoying because this is cutting into all my shit that I do. So
Yeah.
they're getting bigger, so they're becoming more difficult to manage. 3 litters.
Yeah, that's crazy. I thought you did the puppy stuff on your own, and then your mom joined you for the cleaning. But I guess this is cleaning.
Yeah, because we got to clean out crates of poop and paper, and it's annoying. But she's very. I mean, they're starting to. We're helping to wean them off the mama's milk and get them Epilac and all that stuff. So yay! We might have to start giving them shots. I'm like, I ain't doing that. I
Yeah.
don't know the first thing about doing that.
Yeah, you got to do
There's
it.
one puppy that hasn't, because they're Jack Russells. He hasn't gotten any of his spots or coloring yet, so he's like all white, and he's grown very attached to me, and he's gotten chunky. I'm like, I'm keeping this one.
You should. I mean, they're not going to notice. They've got if it's 3 litters.
Yeah. That's why I don't understand. I'm like, if you're gonna be a dog breeder or any breeder, you should be doing like 1 litter at a time.
Yeah.
Wait till
3
all of
is a lot.
your puppies are sold. Keep a few for breeding new litters in the future. And yeah, we did Titanic last night.
We did. Oh, I had a video that I was looking for that I couldn't find last night. There was a Lindsey Graham thing, and I finally found it.
When Trump goes knock knock, still gay.
No, that
Oh.
video is funny, but no, there's this it's like there's something so bizarre about this. It's like this is from when he was still alive, but he was celebrating the start of the
Yeah,
Iran War.
obviously he wouldn't be doing this if he was dead. Well, you know what? Iran's like, we outlived Lindsey Graham.
This is him celebrating the Iran War at the start, and I just found this. It starts at like, I don't know. It's like feels like The Office about this. It's kind of incredible.
Yeah. The way it's filmed.
Knocked out now. Their missile count is going way down.
Look what we've done here. I almost cried. I mean, like, how long have we been pushing this?
Well, I mean, you've been pushing this for years, right?
Right. It's here. I talked to Trump this morning. Oh, he's Jack. It's the best thing I've ever done. He loves blowing stuff up. So, there are a lot of people inside didn't want to do it. So I've had my challenges. But President Trump, when he gets into the zone, he listens, he asks good questions, no tweeting. He has done nothing. He hadn't tweeted much at all. No drama. He's been a great wartime president. I said last night that Trump and Bibi are like Roosevelt and Churchill. I mean, they're the right 2 guys to confront this evil.
That's crazy. This is the best thing Trump's ever did. We got inflation. We got high gas prices. What the hell, dude?
He talks about it like I don't know. Like, he's just like getting real worked up about it. But he talks about Trump like he's like a child or something. He's like, when he gets in the zone, no tweeting now. He hasn't been tweeting much at all. But he's right about that. Trump's been truthing instead.
Yeah, exactly.
Graham probably wasn't on True Social because Trump goes ham on there. But
yeah. Since we're gonna talk about the video about Abdul, it's so funny seeing so many liberals talk about him being a landlord in India or whatever, and they're like, this man who claimed to be working class this entire, I'm like, he's never claimed to be working class. He claimed that he's a doctor with privilege and wealth who wants to do good things, and he's a capitalist. Where did he ever say he was DSA? Like, we need to leave these people behind. It's clear they don't want to do shit. They want to be at brunch. They don't want to do anything. It's up to socialists to do something, because this is getting annoying.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think a lot of the people that are on Twitter, like, I don't think Twitter is representative of like any form of the general population. Like,
well, I mean, we're getting there, considering this one black Twitter user went after James Talarico, was like, can you please disavow this one Twitter user? And it's like, oh God, please don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm just saying, like, I don't think, like, I don't know, like, I think a lot of these people are either influencers, want to be influencers, have some kind of stake in stuff or have some kind of stake in the political system staying the same because they're either people involved in politics. Like, the one thing about Twitter that always kind of blew my mind was that, like, journalists are really overrepresented on there. So it's basically journalists talking to journalists and then making a story out of stuff that happened on Twitter, or journalists talking to politicians and political consultants. And it's like, it's a giant feedback loop, because Twitter never even, and I mean, I think it's way lower than this at this point, but the most users Twitter ever had was like 20% of the population. And it's like the most engaged a lot of the times.
And now bots have overtaken people on Twitter now.
Yeah. But it's like, I don't know. It just always felt like this like elite political feedback loop to me, where people are making these conversations. I mean, obviously, like, there's normal people on there too, but
it's just getting to the point where internet is becoming real life. And I'm like, I don't want this shit going anywhere else and just stays on Twitter. It's like when people who hate Hassan Piker, go to him in person and say, yo, you shocked your dog, fuck you, I don't think the internet
is becoming real life. I think we're just on the internet too much.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be becoming real life, considering how we're so online now that people just don't know how to behave properly in the real world. So they think that their online behavior is normal in real life. When if you were to come up to me and say, like, stuff, I'll be like, what?
I think there's a minority of those people, but I don't think that it's even that. I think people are like becoming desocialized, but I don't think it's just online that it's done that. Like, a lot of people are desocialized, like they didn't really talk to people for 2 years.
Yeah, the Fauci thing is crazy because of people forget, like, they're like, look at all he did. Look at these people that were suffering. I'm like, yeah, for like a few months. I'm like, seeing people completely covered in plastic, I'm like, this was like in March of 2020, people. We didn't know anything about COVID. Like, who cares that you didn't get your hair done for 2 weeks? Who cares?
I don't know. Fauci's like an 85-year-old man. They're like rushing to try to, do the. It's never gonna happen. They're never gonna actually prosecute Fauci, but they're rushing to say they're gonna do that because the guy's gonna be dead, and he's like old as fuck. He's really
he was there. He was in Reagan. He was part of the task force for the AIDS epidemic, I think, too, right?
Yeah, he goes back that far.
Yeah, he was a Republican and Democrats. Like, everyone's making out to be some like libbed up whatever, and I'm like,
well, it was Trump that like appointed him to do all this stuff with COVID in the first place, and everyone acts like it was like.
They're like, why was he there? Well, Trump appointed him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was the head of the NIH over for a bunch of different presidents, all the way back to Reagan. And I think he was originally a Reagan appointee. But it's like, I don't know. It feels like
COVID was 6 years ago. Get over it.
Kind of a bipartisan figure. And like, I'm not even against, like, there's some stuff that happened during COVID in those circles, like. Well, also just, I mean, Fauci kind of brought some of the stuff on himself by, like, he lied.
By being so wishy-washy but I mean, like,
he also lied about masks. He lied about the fact that he was like, oh, in the beginning, he's like, oh, masks don't do anything. You don't have to put on N95 masks. And the whole thing was that there just wasn't enough N95 masks. And rather than actually talking to people and saying, like, hey, there's not enough right now, we need to ramp up production, he was just like, oh, they don't do anything. So he kind of started with the whole dishonesty thing, which he admitted under oath at one point. And he was just like, oh, I thought it was easier to, communicate it this way than that way. So I don't even particularly feel like, I don't know.
And that's what pisses me off. It's like, you did this to yourself. You're the reason why people are such deep into COVID denial that, like, they still talk about it, even though, technically all this shit was 6 years ago. I mean, we're still dealing with COVID, but, like, I don't know. It gets on my nerves when people like represent the entirety of COVID as like those first 2 weeks in March. Like those first 2 weeks in March is what happened the entire time. Okay. I'm like, no, that's not what happened. I mean, people wiping their groceries. I'm like, that happened for like about 2 weeks. You guys couldn't stay home for 2 weeks. You guys wanted to get your nails done. You wanted to get your hair did. You wanted to do that. I'm like, stay home for you know what I did for 2 weeks? When I was finally to try to flatten the curve, watch all of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia for the first time. Rearrange my room. I did like bake bread, do something fun. You have time off to yourself, and you're gonna want to go out and work and do stuff. What's wrong with you people?
That was the first time you watched It's Always Sunny?
Yep.
Oh well, I've been watching It's Always Sunny for a really long time then.
Yeah,
I don't
it
know.
worked.
I feel like it's just we don't do well with just as a society with like moments in time where everyone's unsure of everything, right? Like, and I noticed this like with people trying to communicate with each other on Twitter and stuff. It's either like, you know, the idea of like misinformation or lying, or there's no like, you know, there's no middle ground or gray area where it's just like people don't know things, and then they learn more as time goes on and they figure stuff out. It always has to be like intentional misinformation rather than rather than the fact that maybe things are unknown and you evolve as time goes on and your responses to things evolve as time goes on. It always has to be that people are pushing purposeful disinformation or purposeful lies. And I noticed that in people's communication, it's getting more and more like that. It's like there's always an insistence that like, you know, either people are stupid when they say something wrong or they're lying. There's no in between where it's like, I don't know, because the thing about COVID during the actual pandemic, we didn't actually know that much about it for a long time.
And it said we were more focused on, you know, Pizzagate and QAnon and all that stuff. And I'm like, can you guys just go down the pre-Britney rabbit hole instead? This is like, I mean, I have people who COVID broke their brains that they still believe the craziest conspiratorial stuff, like The Weeknd is Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley is actually Donald Trump, like all the weird. Like I'm like, come on, seriously.
I actually kind of like that one. Elvis Presley's actually Donald Trump.
It's just a weird. Like I'm like, you know, they still think, you know, Armageddon's coming, you know, any day now, any day, you know, JFK, JFK's returning, and I just
yeah, but that's
what COVID did to society as a whole.
Like Americans have
go on DuckDuckGo if you want the real truth. Like, oh Jesus Christ!
Populations of Americans have believed since the founding of America that Armageddon's coming. Like soon, like they believed within their lifetime that Armageddon was happening. The entirety of, you know, American history, there's been people that believe that. So it's like that doesn't really surprise me that much. That something like QAnon caught on, because I feel like evangelicals in particular.
I mean, it's not on 8chan.
But I think evangelicals in particular in American history, which we've had evangelical Christians the entirety, right, of American history, like pretty much like the Second Awakening or whatever, it happened in like the 1800s. And I think the entirety of that time, and like before that, you know, you had Americans that just straight up believed like, oh, Christ is coming any day now. So it's like, it doesn't surprise me that they've been programmed to kind of believe something like QAnon where a savior is coming. It just, I don't know. It's the politicization of it, I guess, is what really kind of bums me out.
Yeah, because everyone's like, COVID is not the issue. Human trafficking from the Democrats and child sacrifice and panda eyes and all this weird stuff that they were coming up with. I was like, oh Jesus Christ!
Armageddon did come out.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, why? I mean, what disturbed me the most is when people would like make like Wilson from like Castaway as like, this is the symbol of pedophilia. Look at it. I'm like, guys, it's the thing from a movie that's been around for like almost for 20 years at the point. What's going? And the fact that they would choose to look up like graphic information about child rape, I'm like, you guys are fucked up in the head if you guys are actively looking for like graphic material. That's why they say always use DuckDuckGo to get because it's uncensored and you can search whatever you want. I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to do that. That's just disturbing.
Yeah, well, that's like voyeurism. There's always been like a voyeuristic element to. I mean,
but they care about pedophilia apparently, and I'm like, do you though?
There's always been like a voyeuristic, which is why something like like all of those shows where they try like To Catch a Predator obviously is like the first mainstream one, but like, or maybe not the first, but one of the early mainstream ones. Like there's been so many of those shows where it's like where they're hunting down pedophiles, and there's always like a voyeuristic element to it where it's like we wanting to see justice get done, but also kind of having this weird fixation on trying to figure out like the actual things of crime. Like true crime is like that too. It's like they're like people get obsessed with like sex crimes
Yeah.
What if Armageddon happened? We're just living in the aftermath. I've thought about that. I'm like, what? I don't know. Like, it would be
2012.
crazy. It'd be crazy if this was like purgatory.
Yeah.
Not even hell. Like, because hell's up here. Heaven's up here, hell's down here, and purgatory in the middle, where it's like, you're waiting to see if your life is good enough to go up to heaven or hell. I mean, maybe that's the Catholic in me.
I'm Catholic too. I know the whole thing about purgatory, but I'm like, nah, this has to be some form of hell. Purgatory seems more entertaining. The whole point, like, you get to go to heaven or hell, because look at your whole life and see every little thing you did wrong, and it's like, okay, cool. I could chill here for a while. Awesome.
I've always thought purgatory felt like, or was described like, it would be like a waiting room.
It's like which way, Western man,
Yeah. But it's like, I don't know, once you're there, like, are there challenges? Like, do you have to, like, how do you earn your place in heaven or hell? I've never really, I don't know. It feels like, you're just waiting. You have to like step up to it's the medium place.
Yeah. Remember, like, this is the good place. Oh, this is the bad place. That show was good.
Yeah, I've only watched a couple episodes of that show. I love the new InfoWars account. That's
I know. Every time every time they come up with new like little ad for like a podcast episode, I'm like, yeah, I can see people actually watching this.
I really like just they have the Jim Rafferty, whatever his name is in this, but he was originally the Onion's like go-to like morning show person where they're making fun of morning shows. And then they all of a sudden use that guy as like a Steve Bannon / Alex Jones type figure, or not even like Tucker Carlson type figure.
Yeah. What are we doing? What's going on?
I found clips of like the morning show thing that they did in like 2011. I was like, oh shit. And I cut it together as like a thing they had a fake thing where they like made him get surgery, and he was getting like his kidney stones removed or whatever, and they brought cameras into the the doctor's office, and he's like, I'm gonna show you a kidney stone removal surgery.
Yeah, they were apparently Alex Jones wants Trump to get impeached. I'm like, oh, funny stuff. Someone's angry, but also too, it's like, it's getting to the point where again, Democrats, don't want the Senate. They have no money. Everyone's like, well, so and so voted to impeach Trump. I'm like, yeah, how did that go? Did he get ousted in the Senate? No.
By the way, when I'm talking about the, I don't know, like content / like voyeurism of the thing, I'm not talking about the I'm not talking about doing something in real life. I'm talking about using that as content, as grist for like a content mill. People are fixated on the content part of that and making money off of the content part of that and consuming the content part of that as a form of voyeurism, I think.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with the actual like justice system.
Because people
and there's been people that have gotten falsely accused by true crime that weren't actually the perpetrators of the crime, and because true crime is always in a race for a kind of format where they're looking for some kind of some kind of villain, or they're looking to exonerate someone, like they get it wrong, and they're not usually professionals, they're podcasters, so they get it wrong, and it's extremely dangerous to use real life crime situations as content. That's kind of my point.
Yeah. But it's getting out of hand. How with all the disinformation happening and these like definitely not paid influencers, saying stuff. And also too, it's funny. It's like you can tell, like you can tell when people are getting paid. They cannot say no. Like they'll say, "Oh, Hassan's being paid by Russia," and I'm like, "Who's paying you?" And you can't deny it. You can't even deny it. And that's the thing. Every time I insult these people, I'm like, they can't insult me back because I'm not getting paid, but they are.
Yeah. But what else is going on in the world?
I mean, the primaries next Tuesday. That's gonna be fun. It's gonna be Cory, but I feel like I don't know. I need your thoughts. Do you think AIPAC is very cocky, thinking that Wesley Bell is gonna win? And so it doesn't seem they're putting as much money in her race against to unseat Wesley Bell as compared to like Abdul and Haley Stevens, because my thing is, and you probably agree with me too, is that AIPAC will see something, will see a person, they'll try to oust them. If they can't, they give up. If they don't, they're fine. They tried doing it with AOC, she won still. They died Ilhan Omar, they realized she still won. They still don't really do a whole lot with her. Rashida Tlaib, forget it. She's very loved in her district. I feel like AIPAC does that thing where it's like, okay, if we succeed, we don't have to do it again. But I feel like they're getting a little cocky, and knock on wood, Cori Bush has a chance to get her seat back in Congress.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's only so many resources that even AIPAC can kind of distribute into races. So they have to, they pump a lot of money into show races, especially because they only really started doing this in 2018. Before that, they would route people's money. They would bundle them. They would have like bundles of donors, or they would route people's money through other PACs. But they only really started getting their own PAC in 2018. So they're like pretty new at this. And
especially the NRA no longer being like the #1 super PAC in the country, because their own financial issues and interpersonal politics, and also they're spending money elsewhere in the world to try to lax gun laws in places that have very strict gun laws. So now AIPAC's like, we're #1.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they really necessarily give up, but like they only have a certain number of resources they can ever really put into anything, and I'm sure they'll just keep pumping the number up and up and up. But it's like Cori Bush was their main target, in 2024, and it's like besides Jamal Bowman, like the two of them, and her running again, I bet it's I bet they're like, oh well, he's probably like Wesley Bell's probably safe, but I don't know. I mean, I think that people didn't really know.
Showing up to events. She like, it's so funny when people are like, well, she abandoned St. Louis. I'm like, no, she didn't. I mean, the eviction moratorium during COVID, like everyone's like, oh, she was like a celebrity act. I'm like, she was an activist. She was an activist for Black Lives Matter, who was living in her car until she ran. That whole documentary with her, AOC, Apology, Swearingen, and I think Alina Presley, they're all in that one documentary on Netflix.
Yeah, and then I think AOC was the only one that won, right? In that time.
No, Cori Bush won too.
Oh.
Yeah, people forget that she's been in office for a while. I think it's called Knock Down the House or something. Paula Jean was very bitter about her loss.
Wait, she got elected in 2020, Cori Bush.
Oh, she did. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
So she wasn't in that long. So she hasn't been in that long. She was only 2 years after AOC.
Yeah. Knocked Down the House 2019. Damn, that movie came out like quite a while ago. Now I forget which ones are the. I know it was Cori Bush was in it. Oh, AOC, Amy Valea. I don't remember her.
Oh, I remember. I vaguely remember her.
And Paula Jean.
Yeah, she was definitely very, very bitter about her loss.
I remember when she just said something about ketchup packets, and everyone was just calling her ketchup packets.
Yeah. But I feel like, knock on wood, Cori Bush has got this, because I feel like, AIPAC thinks they could just do a one and done. I feel like they do internal research and realize for some people like AOC, and they can't try to oust. They can't put money because they're very popular in their districts. But with Cori Bush, they knew it was right after, October 7th, the animosity towards Israel wasn't as strong as it is now. And so for her, basically making, Wesley Bell puts Israel first. He doesn't put St. Louis first, because what has he done? I can't think of anything that he's done.
Did you see his
career? He was terrible. He wouldn't prosecute cops. He was prosecuting Black Lives Matter protesters. He was a Republican, helping Republicans. Like,
do you see his recent ad?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, where he's like, I'm a fighter. I still don't know what he was fighting for. Her seat didn't get stolen by redistricting, as far as I remember. It was just that he was able to just flood the zone with so much money, and because she was progressive and she wasn't taking corporate PAC money, and she wasn't taking AIPAC money, and she wasn't taking anything like that.
And they were talking about how she betrayed Biden and didn't vote. I'm like, but here's the thing though. You could argue Manchin and Sinema messed up that important, Build Back Better bill anyway. There's other members of the squad who didn't vote in favor of that bill too. Why aren't they getting attacked? Only her.
He was also he's kind of been dishonest, Wesley Bell, since like the very beginning. He was kind of elected in the wake of Michael Brown and that and like that police shooting and everything that happened with Ferguson. And he was basically saying he had a bunch of activists. He was running for district attorney at the time, and he had a bunch of activists that got involved in his campaign because he promised them that he was going to go after the cop that killed Michael Brown and prosecute him, and he did not. And he very much did not. And so from that, like from the beginning, he's kind of run these very dishonest campaigns. He was also and Corey Bush pointed this out. He was the campaign manager for like a very far right Republican during the Tea Party.
Yeah, that's not good. During the Tea Party, that's when the Republican Party had one of the most drastic shifts. You know.
But this is the ad that I was talking about.
I'm a fighter.
Yeah.
Boom.
That you fight. It matters who you fight. I'm Wesley Bell. And in Congress, I'm fighting the billionaire special interest. And I'm fighting Donald Trump, whose racist, reckless actions put us all in danger. But who does Corey Bush fight? She fights Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, and other Democrats. Corey Bush even called Kamala a fascist. Come on, Corey. I approve this message because I'll always stay focused on the right fight, beating Donald Trump.
When have you ever beaten Donald Trump, though?
I can't even name anything he's done while he's been, and like, you know, I pay.
It's like Haley Stevens, you know, the whole thing, like, oh, she worked for like an Obama committee like almost 20 years ago. That's all she's got, you know, like.
I mean, I think that if she was running on stuff, that actually would probably be very powerful because she had worked on, you know, the auto rescue.
Yeah.
And I think
brag about that. She can't even really brag about that.
But well, that is what she's bragged about. But that's what happened, you know, like literally almost 20 years ago. She was on that committee, the auto rescue committee. But she used the same clip where she was running against Andy Levin at the time, you know, like, and he was a rabbi. You know, he had been a rabbi and he was like a local rabbi for like a long time. But he, you know, had criticized. He wasn't even like, I think he was a liberal Zionist. He wasn't even anti-Zionist or like, you know, explicitly pro-Palestine. But this is obviously, you know, it was before October 7th, so these kinds of things didn't resonate as much. And AIPAC flooded the zone with like a whole lot of money that time too, on behalf of the non-Jewish candidate that was not a rabbi. You know, like it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it was just so weird watching her accent become more and more fake as like the debate went on.
Yeah, there's a few of those.
You could tell she's faking it because the way she's like purposely moving like her mouth, her jaw, and all that. I was like, yeah, I know when people are putting on a fake accent, they really like.
There's you know, one of my favorite Republican guys because they're just so exasperatingly kind of over the top. Senator John Kennedy.
That Foghorn Leghorn. He wants to put on that accent to sound like he's actually from Louisiana.
Well, yeah, I think he's from Virginia, I think, but his whole deal is that like he was like a Rhodes Scholar that went to Oxford and got 2 degrees. He got 2 separate doctorates, I think, in law from Oxford, but he pretends to just be like an idiot Southern bumpkin every single time, and it's like that's not who you are, and he does the fake accent.
Yeah.
This is what I said this last night. I see it. Or the other what he says.
I have it as a sound alert on my Twitch channel, Josh. Where have you been?
Josh doesn't know anything that's going on.
Anyway.
Yeah, he did. It is kind of pulling Elizabeth Holmes.
Making her voice deeper and sounds like Mark Zuckerberg. That thing, yeah, that was weird. But but Hillary Clinton did it too because you know she's from Illinois. You know, lived in Arkansas because you know that's where I guess she met Bill Clinton or whatever. Was handed a Senate seat in New York, but when she came to South Carolina, she's like, I may not be the youngest candidate in this race, but I've been coloring my hair for years. And I was like,
yeah. She also said, I'm in no ways tired.
I was like, what are you doing? Don't do that. Like,
AOC kind of did that in Memphis recently.
I'm like, why? I'm like, that's like Bernie Sanders suppressing his Brooklyn accent, like his old school. Like, no.
I think Hillary Clinton was talking to like a church, and she's like, "I'm in no ways tired," and it's
This
like,
is so stupid. I hate when candidates do that. You're traveling around. Can you imagine AOC putting on like the fakest Southern accent?
Recently did in Memphis.
Oh yeah, that's right.
She had a fake accent. Well, I don't know, but I mean, I always wonder like how much of that in some cases is like somebody kind of just being in a place and kind of taking on like that kind of
You gotta be there for a long time though to adapt that accent.
Extraneously, like
I lived down here my whole life, and people are like, "Where's your accent at?" And I'm like, "I tried very hard." Because even when I do a fake one, they're like, "Christina, you suck at doing a Southern accent." I'm like, "Yeah, and I lived here my whole life."
It's like it's not even a
Southern. I feel like when I move back up, people up north are like, "Whoa, your accent's very Southern."
It's not even like a Southern accent they try to do. It's like the black preacher accent or something. Like it's very weird.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of candidates try to do that, and it'll be like a person that's
yeah, they try to do it to get the black vote, and I'm like, please don't do that.
Remember when Hillary Clinton pulled hot sauce out of her bag?
Yeah.
They're like, "What do you carry around in your bag?" And she's like,
"Hot sauce."
And she was talking to Charlemagne the God, and he's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, right." And everyone's like, "Well, actually, she does because she casually, takes a few sips of it." I'm like, "Shut up."
Takes a few sips.
Kamala was on. I think she was on the Breakfast Club saying like, "I smoked weed listening to Snoop Dogg," and everyone's like, "You were not in college in 1992. What are you talking about?"
You know what? Well, I think because I think she went to college.
You were in college in the 80s.
Yeah. No, there was. Do you see that clip that was going viral on Twitter? That's like the guy puts hot sauce in his eye.
Yeah.
That Hillary Clinton should have done that.
Yeah.
Prove
it.
Should have been like, "Let me show you something, Charlemagne."
Yeah,
and then I would have been like, "You know what? I believe her. She carries that hot sauce in her bag like eye drops."
Clear eyes is awesome.
I'm in no ways tired. It actually kind of infuriates me that it's not just Hillary Clinton. RFK, the original, like RFK Senior, not RFK Junior, like was never living in New York, and then we kind of just gave him a Senate seat. Hillary Clinton was not living in New York, like up until we gave her a Senate seat. Like, why does New York have to be the state that gives these people a Senate seat?
Yeah.
Like I want a senator from New York that lives in New York.
Chuck Schumer, right?
Well, Chuck Schumer better not give his Senate seat to like, I don't know who's the next Kamala Harris.
Yeah,
the senator from New York, Kamala Harris.
Yeah, that's like carpetbagging. That's like I'm like yeah. There's like there should be rules about like how long you've lived. Like everyone's like, you should run against Cory Booker. I'm like, yeah, but not like my first year living in Jersey. I should be like in my 40s running, because I feel like he's gonna be one of those incumbents who just keeps winning his Senate race. No one wants to go up against him. It's fine. But like, I can't just, what do I know about New Jersey besides, pork roll, Jersey's real.
Accent. Well, Pete Buttigieg is one of the ones that tried to do like an Obama accent, pretty much, didn't he?
Yeah,
like
they all do it.
Abdul kind of does it.
Josh Shapiro.
Yeah, but
he got the cadence. He's got the tone and everything. I'm like, oh god, no, you're not.
I like Abdul Said, but he kind of does do the Obama voice sometimes when he's talking. And I'm like,
I like that ad with his grandparents who do like the eye-catching scary Fox News. Where does Abdul Sayed come from? Oh, where his grandparents? We can tell him. I forgot. Is his mother white? Because his grandparents are white.
No, I think his parents are both Egyptian, if I remember correctly.
Oh.
They're like, but they both are like, they came from Egypt. I think they like met at Cairo University or something, if I remember.
Romantic.
Yeah. And then they came here because obviously, like, it's way better to get an engineering job in Detroit. At least.
Who do you think Forrest is? Michael Brooks?
Let me be clear.
Can't even do it.
Imagine if I came out and I was like, "Welcome to movie night extravaganza."
I think it's funny. There's that one white dude who does a good Obama voice. Like everyone's like, if you get the folks, it's like, whoa. Like even Hassan was like, "Is this like black voice? What is this? Is this appropriate for like a?" I was like, "Oh damn!" And he was doing the whole like, "Here's how I do it." I'm like, "Yeah, I can't get it. I can't get it." I don't know what the guy's name is, but like Hassan talked about him, And he did the whole he did all the Obama, doing like an Obama speech, and then he was about to get interrupted. He's like, "Let me finish," and I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's him. Yep, that's Obama."
I guess it's just his dad that was from Alexandria, Egypt, but yeah. But I remembered like reading that his parents had like, but no, his parents are both I think Egyptian. I'm not mistaken, but it's I don't know. Yeah, both parents are Egyptian, but it's like people in Egypt though like have pretty different looks. You know what I mean? Like
different skin tones and different
yeah.
shades. And,
it's like a pretty diverse. I mean, just historically, it's been a pretty diverse place. Like there's been like a lot of Greek influence. There's been a lot of like North African influence, and then people have immigrated from other parts of Africa. Like Egypt is such a kind of interesting place because it's in the Arab world, but it's also it's in the African like African continent, but then it's also kind of like throughout history has been a lot of like Greek influences come through there at various times. I mean like people talk about the stuff with Cleopatra, like she was Greek, like Hellenistic, I guess is the word for it.
Dude, speaking of whatever, everyone's, I guess there's a new wave of people learning that I'm really important guy was the white guy in the Pretty Fly for a White Guy music video.
I remember learning that the first time, like, I don't know, like a couple years. I never even heard of that guy, but people clip, like, I don't watch streams, like, I only see stuff on Twitter, and it's like, it was just like right when I think October 7th happened, that guy was like everywhere for a little bit.
Yeah, because he's like, my family member served in the IDF. They can't say no. I'm like, yeah, you can. You get like a slap on the wrist for it. What the hell? Like, even I called him out on it. I was like, what the dude? Come on.
I'm kind of offended. They should have gotten a non-Jewish white guy to be the I'm pretty fly for a white guy.
Yeah.
Like Jews are white, but like, I mean, I feel like they should have found like an Anglo guy,
Yeah. Like Anglo European.
We can't even, we can't. Well, I mean, I'm Italian, so I guess I'm on the same outskirts as Jews. But white guys in America can't even be in the "I'm pretty fly for a white guy."
What? Yeah, exactly. Real white representation, no more. Even in 1990, whatever.
Key and Peele are in white and nerdy. I forgot.
Yeah, right after like Mad TV and all that.
Yeah, they pull up in the car while he's mowing. He's mowing his front lawn.
Also, shout out to Weird Al. He's cool. He's anti-genocide. He was not anti-AI. He ain't taking money from Saudi Arabia. Like, he's so cool. I love it.
Don't let Zoran know you could do a great Idi Amin. It was like scare him out of the city.
Yeah.
His dad was like one of the Indian Ugandans that was like kicked out by Idi Amin and then had to move back to Uganda again after like a few years when they did like the Ugandan genocide in the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't let the mayor know.
Yeah. Isn't it kind of weird that people are fear-mongering about the government-owned grocery stores when I'm like, commissaries exist?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like. That's one of the, in my opinion, of all the policies that Zoran had during the primaries and stuff. Like, I've always felt like that was the weakest one. It just feels like that's a lot of money for something that's experimental. But I'm not like against it. I just feel like,
I mean, that's the reason why they're so mad at him. They're like, he's doing stuff that we say we can't do, and he's proven that we can do stuff, but we don't want to do it because, whatever. But it's just so funny. I'm like, and everyone's like, how can you do that? I'm like, guys, commissaries exist on military bases.
Yeah, well, there's also just been multiple cities that, I mean, it's kind of unfortunate.
Other countries do it too.
Well, Chicago has city-owned grocery stores, but they're closing right now, I guess, because Chicago's kind of out of money. But there's been like a few cities that have quietly kind of done stuff like that. But I don't know. It's unfortunate. Like there's a story that broke, like Brandon Johnson's closing down the last of like Chicago's experiment in city-owned grocery stores like this week. It's like, oh man, this is the worst time.
It's been an utter failure for Chicago.
Yeah. I don't know. I saw.
I feel like New York City is the better experiment to do all that though.
I was stuck at Midway Airport for like 2 hours.
You
like
blamed him?
month. And I saw, but I saw his picture on the thing, and I was like, "Oh,
damn you, Brandon Johnson!"
Yeah, I was like, "Let's go, Brandon." It's not even, but Midway was fine. It's like LaGuardia that I've had problems with every time. LaGuardia.
Damn you, LaGuardia.
Fiorello LaGuardia.
You might have been a great mayor forever and did a lot of good stuff, but damn you. I mean,
I would
they're comparing him to LaGuardia because of all the shit he's getting done. So
I don't understand why politicians want to have airports named after them. It seems like
or
they're
highways
places
or
of,
libraries. Yeah.
it seems like they're
Schools.
places of like utter misery and boredom. Like I would like somewhere that if I was a mayor and they were like, oh, I'd like to name something after you, I would like something that's like
A nightclub.
Yeah, I mean,
A weed dispensary. I don't know.
I don't. It's just funny. Like I don't think people get like
theater?
people don't like the airport at all.
Yeah.
And I've never seen an airport.
No matter. You could be 4 hours early and still somehow miss your flight.
Yeah. Well,
like Dan was like, I'm fine. We're gonna leave like 20 minutes before my flight leaves, and I'm like, are you sure that's a good idea? And then he ended up missing his flight.
Well, yeah. I mean that's he did something stupid.
Yeah, that's just how he operates. He's not someone who is prepared and organized and thinks ahead. Peace and love. But like I was like, shouldn't you have been packing last night?
I think the first time I found out that I'm really important was he was on a panel with Destiny in 2020 challenging Joshua Socialist Roger Collins. Yeah, it does sound incredibly eternally online.
Oh, Jesus. Shout out to Socialist Trucker.
I found I think it was like right after October 7th that guy started being around everywhere. But I remember I really liked The Offspring for a long time. And so like I don't know, it was crazy to find out that guy was in the video. That was I'm pretty fly for like how do you do political commentary after that?
Yeah.
You're like the whole point of the video is that like you're nerdy, you're white, and everyone kind of hates you, and you think you're cool, and you think you're a black guy. And it's like that guy's like, guess what? I'm doing serious political commentary. It's like, shut up. You're not fly for a white guy.
Oh man. That's funny though. When I was like, what? Well, but one of them's dead.
That's the one I'm voting for.
Yeah. That's the only Beastie Boys song that's played on the radio is "Fight for Your Right to Party."
Gotta fight for your right to party. I feel like they play
that made fun of frat culture, and they're like, "This is our song. This is our anthem," and they're like, "Fuck, man."
I feel like they play "No Sleep Till Brooklyn" on the radio sometimes. Brass Monkey they play on the radio sometimes. But I don't know. I love a good Brass Monkey. Like I like taking the like when they used to have glass 40s, not this plastic bullshit. I like taking the 40 and shaking it up and putting orange juice in it. And then I don't know, those were like delicious. So like but I found out about those from the song Brass Monkey. And like I would bring those over to my friend's house and be like, it's Brass Monkey night, baby.
Yeah. Did you
made every 40 plastic, and now it's Sabotage too. Sabotage gets played on the radio.
Yeah. Did you see I love More Perfect Union because they're always doing these deep dives into stuff. Like, you know how like all of our food tastes the same when we go out to eat or whatever, if we could afford to go out to eat, because like, you know, Cisco has like all the food, owns all the food distributing and all that. Well, they were interviewing someone who actually gets everything locally sourced, and she's like, you know, if I were to get like the sourdough bread from like a company from Cisco and not make it homemade, you know, they would notice a difference. Like she makes everything from scratch for her breakfast brunch restaurant, and I'm like, it's getting harder for a lot of local restaurants.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of places say they're locally sourced, and it's like,
and they're not. You could tell when something's like, yeah, I've had this from like Applebee's or Chili's or whatever. But I mean, I swear those Nashville hot mozzarella sticks from Chili's slap though. But like you can tell like, oh, these are all the same jalapeno poppers I've eaten at every other restaurant.
Well, and a lot of those things, when it's specifically something like jalapeno poppers or like mozzarella sticks or like stuff like that, they always get them frozen a lot of times, and they just throw them in like the fryer.
Frozen, they just fry it.
Yeah, so that makes sense why they kind of taste the same everywhere.
Yeah. How can you make mozzarella sticks any different? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, unless you put like something in like a flavor of on the breading or whatever, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of places that are pretty pretentious that would claim that they do something different with something like mozzarella sticks. So I feel like that's a big thing now. It's like we do our own like locally sourced cheese and the mozzarella sticks, and it's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah. And then another one was about data center Allen, Virginia, where there was like a bit of like a blackout throughout the country on the 24th. And this guy has a device that you can plug in that kind of monitors like electricity, and like if there's like a hiccup or whatever, it reports it or whatever. I'm like, oh, because everyone's like, well, data centers are supposed to run on their own electricity. I'm like, okay, but we don't have the infrastructure to have these things built. They're
Yeah, I
still
don't really get how
relying
you
on the electrical grid regardless. And
Yeah, I
again,
don't get how you would do that outside of the already existing electrical grid, which means that they tax the electrical grid, which means obviously, I mean, around the country, rates are already going up.
yeah. My electric bill's like $300 for 1 month.
My electric company, I've talked about this before, but my electric company used to be publicly owned, and they sold, like they got sold to like a Qatari / Canadian company or something.
Yeah.
And so they got privatized, and then they started out of nowhere pretty much like raising rates, but not telling people how much, like not actually
like 20% or what,
Well, just like I had friends that got $3,000 electric bill because they just assumed like they're not going to actually contest it, but they did it to like everybody. So all of a sudden, people had to go to like court, and they had to sit through these hearings, and it became a big scandal because, and they're still kind of doing parts of it where it's like, the company was just suddenly charging people like $3,000 when their electric bill was like $150 the day before, or whatever, the month before, out of nowhere, plus raising rates. Like, and then after all of that, the CEOs and the executives of this company gave themselves bonuses during that year, where it's like they're already going through these massive hearings, and they're like, oh, it's just our computer system's doing it, it's not us. But then you go to contest it, and it's like a whole thing to try to get your electric bill to go back down.
Yeah, because a lot of people are like, well, AI is killing us, and I'm like, because they have it all figured out. Their data centers aren't absorbing electricity, they're providing electricity, they're not using up water, they have the infrastructure, and they had it all figured out. Meanwhile, we're just rushing into this without actually doing the research, and of course everyone is suffering because people are like, they're thinking that it's like fracking, where people are lying about like what's going on in their backyards, in their homes. Remember how like a lot of people were saying like, my water is like, I turn on the faucet, I can light up and something lights up or whatever. Or
remember when Obama drank the Flint water?
Yeah. Ugh.
That was insane.
Yeah, I was like, no, don't do that. Or like, because a lot of people are like, it's so loud, and I'm experiencing blackouts throughout the day, and the water pressure sucks. That's not fake. I'm documenting this. This is my experience. Yet people think I'm lying about this. It's because we have a data center that's in our backyard now. The whole neighborhood, the whole community suffering. No, it's not that.
Do you think Obama will one day like get some kind of weird cancer because he drank the Flint water?
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
I'd be like, bro, that's crazy.
You did that to yourself for trying to sabotage Bernie in 2020.
He'd still be trying to claim that, like, I don't know. He'd still be trying to claim that, like, oh, it's some kind of other cancer, and it's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
New Hampshire does have government run liquor stores.
Nice.
New Hampshire's only allowed to have government run liquor stores. They have like these weird laws about liquor in New Hampshire. Stuff from local Amish store because they have good cheese selection, better than the others, while being very aware that many Amish are known to repackage food and resell it as local and organic.
Wow, Amish people who make their own butter and bread from scratch are lying to us? Who would have thought? I thought they don't need that technology.
I have like the Bruderhof, like not Amish, like the Mennonites that live one like a town over or something. They have like a Mennonite school, which is like they're the Amish pretty much, but like they're like slightly, I'm not saying slightly above, slightly more technologically able, or technologically, I don't know, like they're allowed to use more technology and buy more things than the Amish are.
Yeah.
So I like there's a community of men, like the girls from that school went to our high school, or like from that community went to our high school for classes. So I remember seeing them. They like make their own clothes and stuff.
Yeah, we're living in Amish paradise.
I think Amish and Mennonites don't like each other.
Yeah.
Then there's like, because I was reading something where I was reading about like Amish people, and there was something that happened in a town where there was like gang activity. It was like Amish gangs. There was like crime that happened, and it was like,
can you imagine Amish gangs?
But the Amish blamed. I think it was a lot of like drunk and disorderly teens that were running around at the time. Because this is when someone on Twitter was like, someone on Twitter said, you don't see gangs of drunken Amish running around. It's like, no, actually you do. And there's been Amish meth dealers too that have gotten in trouble for that. But there's this community where they had a gang of roving teenagers that were like, and the Amish said that they were Mennonites, and the Mennonites said that they were Amish.
Huh.
They were blaming it on each other.
It's like,
there was another place that had a bar, because you're technically allowed, I think, to get drunk as an Amish person, kind of, but like they frown on it. And there was a back door into this bar in a community, and the Amish were calling it the Mennonite door, and the Mennonites were calling it the Amish door to like try to blame the other ones for the
so weird.
like, but if you see them, you can't really. I mean, I'm sure there's like some noticeable differences, but Amish are far more like conservative about things than the Mennonites are. Yeah, the rules. Yeah, I mean, it's not like, it's not like a hard and fast rule kind of thing, but I think Mennonites are usually just able to be more technologically advanced than the Amish are, because it's like, the Amish are like a very specific. The Amish are Mennonite, but they're like a very specific sect of the Mennonite, really like sect.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can we can call it because you're tired, and it's not actually that eventful of a week when you really think about it. Besides besides Lindsey Graham getting out of his casket and dancing around and going, wait, we could do more war. We could do more war. And then Trump goes, get back in, Lindsey, and slams the door. He's Trump opens the casket and lets zombie Lindsey Graham like devour a bunch of Iranian children.
Oh boy.
He's like, I have a secret weapon. Yeah, so we're starting our Batman Christopher Nolan watch through of the Christopher Nolan Batman movie.
I think in order to do a group chat with Gus, we're gonna have to do Discord for that.
Okay. All right, we could do that. Oh, on the schedule, just don't forget to write which guests we have, because I got to send that schedule to Chris so he can make the old artwork for it. But yeah, so we're doing the Batman movies next Monday, and then I think on Tuesday, the space during our normal movie night extravaganza time is going to be watching the Cory Bush Wesley Bell primary. I think there's a bunch of other
and Abdul as well. Abdul's is the same day.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So it's probably good that we're not checking the thing every 5 seconds while the show is going.
Yeah,
on.
especially because Gus is also does politics, so Conan would be like this the whole time.
Yeah. Like, oh, in this case, Batman began, and so did Abdul Al-Sayed getting the small lead in the primary.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're doing the Dark Knight a week after that with Freddie. Excited to meet via podcasting Freddie, because I mean, I know him from Twitter. Like, we talk on Twitter all the time. And then I think that's what we have going on. Oh, we also have on the Silver Globe, not under the Silver Globe, on the Silver Globe with Renee. I think it's gonna be not this Saturday, but next Saturday on the 8th. So look out for that as well. Yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks for joining Absurdity Space.
Bye.